Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, a school bus crash in Manistee left the vehicle damaged, but no students were reported injured. Plus, parents are demanding accountability from social media giants while holding a vigil in Los Angeles for those lost in sextortion schemes. We'll hear from UP native John DeMay, who lost his son to suicide. And new technology for transparency. Marquette County Sheriff deputies are getting upgraded body cameras. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Kelly, good evening. I fear you're going to tell us the temperatures are going to be dipping a little bit.
Good evening, Kevin. Well, if you know that that's what I'm going to say, then why are we fearing it? Yeah, at least we know that we are going to see the cold. It's not too bad right now. Again, it's all about perspective in the grand scheme of things, but people are out and about taking advantage of this Thursday night on our 19 News Skycam of downtown Marquette. We have no snow. We just have some clouds moving in and out. Temperatures right now mid to lower 20s, 23 for us into Marquette. Temperatures actually slightly rise through the overnight. We have some snow showers, but then when the winds really kick in, don't get too comfortable with those temperatures. A cold surge is on the way. I'll have those details and we'll see if it spills into the weekend in just a few minutes.
Kelly, thank you very much. Officials say no students were harmed in a bus crash yesterday morning in Manistee. According to the Manistee area school superintendent, one of the district's buses went off the road, slid into a low ditch, and drove into the trees. While the bus remained upright, it struck tree limbs and sustained a fair amount of damage. The driver moved the students to the back of the bus and checked for injuries, and a second bus arrived to help students exit the vehicle. Michigan State Police responded to the scene and confirmed that no students appeared to be injured. Manistee Area Schools is launching an investigation into the crash, planning to review evidence, examine police and driver reports, and conduct interviews. The superintendent says some response procedures may need to be changed, but he also believes the district's buses are safe and that the drivers care about student safety. Parents who say social media cost their children their lives held a vigil today outside a Los Angeles courthouse. The vigil took place just days before a landmark social media addiction trial begins. The defendants include some of the world's most powerful companies, Meta, Snapchat, TikTok, and Alphabet. Parents held photos of their children and stood silently for 2,000 seconds, one for each related case filed nationwide. The trial will focus on 24 bellwether cases, including Marquette father John DeMay, whose son Jordan died after falling victim to a sextortion scheme.
The dangers are sitting in the palm of their hand. This device has access to the world. Are you going to give your 14-year-old daughter, your sons, teenage sons, access to the planet in the palm of their hand? You have to understand that's what you're doing.
DeMay says the big social media companies need to focus more on the safety of children and less on profit. The Marquette County Sheriff's Department has completed the purchase of a new body camera system. Working within the county's fiscal year budget, the Sheriff's Office received 5 bids over the past few months from a list of manufacturers, ultimately selecting a roughly $68,000 deal with Motorola. Under Sheriff Lowell Larson says this continues years of safety and accountability between its officers and the community.
We've been using body cameras since 2008, so we're one of the first agencies in the area to adopt the technology, and it's worked well for us. Recently, we put in for a project to upgrade our existing body cameras to a new platform so that we will have that reliability.
All 31 new units will be used by road patrol officers, with plans for the department's existing cameras to pass along to county jail staff. 4 former Michigan governors took the stage in Lansing to talk about the growing lack of civility in politics. The discussion featured former governors John Engler, Jim Blanchard, Rick Snyder, and Jennifer Granholm. The group discussed declining trust in government, the role of social media in polarization, and the need for positive campaigning and bipartisan work. They also said leaders and voters alike share responsibility for improving political discourse.
I've tried to treat anyone in the political world just as if they had been a family member sitting at my dining room table. Isn't that what we need to do? And don't we need to stand up against all the perverse, the messed up, the weird view of this political world?
One, it's not an independence, small fingers in our hands.
We'll have more from that forum tonight at 11:10 Central. The Upper Peninsula Construction Council has opened applications for its 2026 through 2027 Construction Connect UP program. Current high school juniors around the Marquette, Iron Mountain, or Escanaba areas interested in trades work can sign up for this job site experience. It allows them to work with HVAC, electrical, and general contractors throughout their senior year. The UPCC says students applying should prepare for a resume building workshop and formal interview process prior to joining the program.
We're trying to build on that foundation of awareness for high school students so that they can make a really good choice as to which craft fits them best. We want people to be happy, right? And we want them to get to their success.
Applications are due by March 31st. We'll have more details on where to apply and what students can expect on our website. Your first warning weather forecast is after the break. Plus, we hear from OSF Healthcare about the key things to watch out for when it comes to cardiac health. We'll have this week's Medical Minute. And later, Bill and Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in a closed-door deposition tied to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. We'll have the latest from Washington, D.C., and we'll be back after this.
Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
And welcome back. As we get closer to the weekend, start planning those plans now, and as long as you have enough layers because of the cold, then we should be fine. The snow and the cold, at this point, it's the same old song and dance, but it's all about how cold is it going to get, the time frame of it, so I'll break it all down for you. But right now, our Doppler Max pretty quiet. We're not seeing much activity, didn't see too much in the snow department here, just 1.2 inches into Marquette today. The average high is 22. We hit 23, so another day where we're actually ever so slightly above it, but that's a win. You got to look at the little wins in the winter, especially as we are hoping to get closer to spring fast enough with some warmer weather. But here's your first morning weather futurecast. The snow that moves on in for the rest of the evening, still very scattered, but then once those winds really get in from the north, we have some snow showers that are lake influenced, lake enhanced, and it is going to linger in pretty much the same area. It's either going to be very east of Marquette County or just right through Munising, and it will stay there probably for a good maybe 12 to 18 hours. It's not going to be a heavy snowfall, not very consistent, and for the whole entire day, but you see this particular model does want to put most of the snow accumulation through munising. So light to moderate. This is a coating 2 to 4, I would say, for now all the way through the end of Saturday. That's really all we're looking at in terms of major snow that's on the way for the weekend. So start planning your plans now. For your Friday, temperatures will start off on the more mild side. Again, we should be lower 20s, and we'll start off in the lower 30s, but temperatures drop throughout the day tomorrow. They won't rise too much for Saturday. The snow will taper off, but we'll be stuck into the teens, and then we'll raise it back up to more seasonal and slightly mild conditions for your Super Bowl Sunday. So if you have anything you need to get done for having people over, going anywhere, headed to the grocery store, it's a good time to do so tonight or tomorrow morning, just as long as you're dressed for it. Here's how your temperatures are going to look as we head through Friday night and Saturday. So like I said, they drop through the day tomorrow, and then we're stuck in the teens for Saturday. Now we factor in the winds, and you can see this quick just drop in the temperatures. You can see almost on that map with the contour of the cold air that really settles in and stays there, but it's at least a brief cold surge. We've had those cold patterns where it feels like just an eternity of weeks and weeks with about 20 below. So Saturday will be cold. It's definitely the coldest out of our next few days, but it won't stay that way once we get to Sunday and Monday. And it also won't stay that way for much longer either, because we're trending much warmer than average for that 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So that's what we're looking forward to. But of course, the colder temperatures, we got to check up on the ice right now. Still seeing red on the immediate coastline here, which is good. So that's 90 to 100% coverage. But check the thickness. Please be safe if you're headed out for any of those ice festivities. A few isolated flurries to kick off the weekend of the big game, and then we fast forward to the start of this upcoming week. Temperatures rebound, and we start off with a few more snow showers.
Kelly, thank you again. In our continuing partnership with OSF Healthcare, we're talking with another doctor about what to look out for when monitoring your cardiac health. Here's this week's Medical Minute. Dr. Rinwala, it is Heart Month, so what are some key factors in maintaining cardiac heart health?
Well, I think one of the main factors is actually trying not to get to the point where you're going to have a heart attack or have a heart problem. So diet, exercise, sleeping well, reducing stress, not smoking, and following the pillars of health that will really make it so you're less likely to have atherosclerotic vascular disease is where we would start.
All right, gotcha. So when should someone start getting cardiovascular workups?
So I think that everybody is different. If you have a family history of coronary disease that is early heart disease, you should get it about 10 years before your first degree relative had a heart blockage or had heart disease. And any symptoms. I mean, if you're having chest pain, shortness of breath, palpitations, feel like you're passing out, or if your cholesterol is not under good control, or blood pressure is not under good enough control, and you cannot get it under control with your primary care physician, we're here to help.
All right. Are there any symptoms you might want to watch out for if maybe you need to go to your primary care physician to check those out?
For sure. If you are having chest tightness, chest pain, shortness of breath when you exert yourself, palpitations to the point where your heart's racing too fast, or if you feel like you're having syncope or passing out type symptoms, I think it's time.
All right, doctor. Thank you very much. Those are all my questions. Thanks for joining us.
Very, very happy to be here.
Coming up next, President Trump says he will not fire Homeland Security Director Kristi Noem as tensions continue surrounding immigration enforcement. We're back in 2 minutes.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. Bill and Hillary Clinton have agreed to appear on Capitol Hill for closed-door depositions tied to the House Oversight Committee's investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Until this week, the Clintons had resisted testifying despite congressional subpoenas, but once the House made plans to move forward with holding them in contempt of Congress, the Clintons agreed to appear before lawmakers. WZMQ 19 Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon has been tracking this story and has more tonight from Capitol Hill.
Two of the biggest names in Democratic politics have agreed to testify before the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation into the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
No one's above the law.
The agreement comes just days before the Clintons were set to be held in contempt for refusing to appear. Contempt proceedings that were supported by members of both parties.
The mandate to go to the floor to hold them in contempt when they refuse to participate also passed by wide bipartisan margins. If you're subpoenaed, you have to answer to it, and I'm sure they're going to come in and tell their side of the story.
House Oversight Chairman James Comer says the former president and former Secretary of State will sit for closed-door depositions at the end of the month. If they don't show, he says contempt proceedings are still on the table.
This will be their third date that we've given the Clintons, and 3 strikes and you're out.
The Clintons said they'll accept the deposition terms, but also suggested they could testify in a public hearing instead, which Chairman Comer has not offered. Hillary Clinton taking aim at Comer Thursday on social media, saying, quote, "You love to talk about transparency. There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing, cameras on."
Depositions have historically been much more substantive than hearings. Hearings are unfortunately have become more of an entertainment thing. If they get to the depositions and they still want a public hearing, we'll try to do something.
This week, committee leaders were pressed on whether bringing in former presidents could set a precedent, especially if Democrats win the House in November.
Republicans have set a pretty substantial new precedent as it relates to former presidents. And so I think everything has to be on the table. We obviously want to talk to President Trump. There's no question about that. And so there is a new precedent that's been set. I think that's something that we're absolutely going to look into.
Hillary Clinton's deposition will take place first on February 26th, followed by former President Bill Clinton on February 27th. Reporting in Washington, Brendan Scanlon, WZMQ 19 News.
Neither Bill or Hillary Clinton have been accused of any wrongdoing, but the 79-year-old former president has admitted he's known Epstein for years. President Trump is defending his administration amid criticisms of tactics around immigration and voting. Erica Brown has more details from Washington, D.C.
President Trump told guests at Thursday's National Prayer Breakfast he is not going to fire Kristi Noem. The Homeland Security Secretary has been under fire since the shooting deaths of Minneapolis residents Alex Preddy and Renee Good.
Why would I do that? We have the strongest border in the history of our country.
But Democrats say they will not fund DHS until the Trump administration agrees to reform its immigration enforcement tactics.
Not one more penny for ICE until we get some restraints in place.
Reflecting on Minneapolis, the president told NBC News his administration could use a softer touch, but said they still have to be tough.
I'm not happy with what happened there. Nobody could be happy, and ICE wasn't happy either. But I'm going to always be with our great people of law enforcement.
President Trump is also standing by his Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. The president has said he sent her to Georgia to look into election interference. Now he says it was Attorney General Pam Bondi who wanted her there.
They say, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Why is she doing it? Because Pam wanted her to do it. And you know why? Because she's smart.
Gabbard was on hand as the FBI raided the Fulton County Election Center, seizing voting records related to the 2020 election.
What the heck's going on here? You know, she is foreign intelligence, not domestic. Criminal investigations.
Trump, who insists he won the 2020 election despite losing court battles asserting that claim, now says Russia or China may have interfered.
Now don't go away. When we come back, Mike Ludlum has your look at sports. Stay tuned.
Good evening, everyone. Grand Valley State is ranked 14th in the National Association of Basketball Coaches Division II men's basketball poll this week. NMU is 16th, Michigan Tech is 17th. It's pretty obvious why those three teams are on the top of the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Grand Valley and NMU are 10-2, Tech is 9-3. The Huskies host Lake Superior State tonight. Tech assistant coach Zach Fleener says the Lakers are improving.
Lake's playing better than anybody in the league right now. I think they're third in net rating in the conference. They're a really good team. They're really well coached. They're going to switch. They are young and playing with the confidence and freedom of a young team. We have to make sure that we get in that position to make sure we don't give up leads more than right now. We got to focus on getting in that position, hopefully. I mean, we feel like it's going to be two really good games this weekend. If we get in those two positions, I hope we do a better job of extending the leads or holding the leads. But we got to make sure first that we take care of the first half and hopefully get in those situations first.
The game should begin around 7:30 or a little after the women's contest. NMU hosts Saginaw Valley State this evening. Wildcats head coach Matt Makerzak says every team in the league is a threat, whether it's last place Roosevelt or tonight's opponent, the Cardinals.
All the teams outside of the top three have shown, I mean, even Roosevelt has one win. They went to Upper Iowa, who was top 10 in the country at the time or something, and won on the road. Like, everybody's had these moments where you're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to see that. Saginaw won at Grand Valley and at Ashland. Like, that's terrifying. So everybody can beat everybody. They're playing really hard. They're really well coached. And it's going to be, both games are going to be challenges.
Once again, the men's game should start around 7:30 or a little bit after the women's contest. We should have highlights of all four games tonight on your WZMQ 19 News at 11 o'clock. The 20th ranked Michigan Tech hockey team hosts 16th ranked Augustana for Winter Carnival this weekend. This will be, I'm pretty sure, the Vikings' first appearance at Carnival. The theme this year is Through Ice and Snow to Space We Go.
The strength of our team is the pack, and lone wolves die and packs thrive, and that's got to be our mentality. If you want to find a way to success, you have to have sacrifice, discipline, courage, commitment to laying it on the line for each other. They've got really good goaltending. They've bought into their structure, their game plan. They have a balanced scoring attack. You've got really 5 teams jockeying for position to get home ice.
Michigan Tech senior Jack Anderson has been named the Hockey Commissioners Association's National Defenseman of the Month for January. Anderson led all CCHA Blue Liners in goals 4, points 10, plus minus plus 12, and blocks 20 to help Tech become 20th in the country with a 7-3 record. This month was highlighted by getting his first hat trick in college against Alaska Anchorage on January 3rd. Face-off tomorrow, 7:07 p.m. Saturday's game begins at 5:07. NMU and Lake Superior State are both idle this weekend. Detroit Tigers pitcher Tarek Skubal will be paid $32 million this year after a 3-person salary arbitration panel ruled in his favor today over the $19 million salary the team proposed, according to sources from ESPN. The victory for the 29-year-old Skubal not only bests the record salary for a player in the arbitration system by $1 million, but it shatters the previous high mark of $19.9 million for an award from the panel. Skubal is the 2-time reigning American League Cy Young Award winner. Of course, they signed Framber Valdez yesterday to a 3-year, $115 million contract just hours after Skubal's hearing ended yesterday. And we will be right back.
And a final check of your forecast as we start to prepare for your weekend. Got to get through Friday first, and we will have some colder temperatures that will settle into play. So highs tomorrow, they may start out and reach the upper 20s and lower 30s, but then we quickly see a cold surge on the way for your Friday night, and it will spill into your Saturday with that cold surge. But temperatures rebound on your Sunday and then continue to rise through Monday and Tuesday with a few isolated snow showers. More in your forecast later tonight.
Kelly, thank you again. And finally tonight, this Super Bowl weekend, sports fans have a chance to buy and sell collectibles ahead of the big game. The Super Sports Cards and Memorabilia Show returns to the Delta County Chamber of Commerce on Saturday from 9 to 4. In addition to athlete cards, attendees will find Pokemon and Magic the Gathering cards, autographed jerseys and helmets, and other memorabilia. Organizers say the popularity of trading cards faded in the 90s, but the hobby has since been on the rise since the pandemic.
If you like to play the stock market, it's kind of the same thing. You buy the rookies and players that are on the Super Bowl teams, and if those teams win the Super Bowl, those players' cards are going to go up. If they don't, they're going to stay where they're at or go down.
Admission is free, and there are still a few vendors' tables available. For registration, visit our website. That's it for now, everyone. We'll see you later tonight.
Lilly Broadcasting stands with the people of Iran.